Switching gears now, experts say a child's environment plays a big role in how kids adjust to stress and changes.
Now, summertime can be a couple of months free from school assignments and alarm clocks, but how can that freedom impact their mental health? And that's why we have psychologist Dr. Saunders here in the Great Day Studio in person.
We love it when you come.
To tell us what families can do so that everyone has a cool summer.
Hello, friends.
Hi.
Happy Thursday. I'm excited to be here.
It's always a pleasure when you come in.
We are on the cusp of having kids leave school, and so that's where we need to talk about their mental health for the summer as well.
I'm going to guess that the first thing is they need some sort of structure and something to do during the day, as opposed to a free-for-all.
Right. So I think the initial impulse is we just want to be free. We want zero structure. And while a little break is okay, it's really, especially for younger kids, it's really not good to have no structure all day long. That's why a lot of parents want to sign their kids up for camps or have other things for them to do. There needs to be anchor events, something to do 1 or 2 times a day to keep them on task.
But on the flip side, I've seen parents over-sign up their kids. You know, it's like that overstimulation, packing their schedule.
I get soccer in the morning, basketball at noon, baseball at 5.
Or the camps for this and then camps for that. Too much of that could also be a negative thing, right?
Yes. So, I mean, it's about knowing your child, right? Some kids need some structure, right? Not over structure, but some structure. Something to do, something to look forward to. But other kids need more emotional space and break. So it's really about knowing your child, knowing what works best for them, and then putting that plan together. But it's hard for parents, especially when parents are working.
Right, especially when the kids are younger, too. You know, like my son just turned 5, and he really, really loves his quiet time. He gets home from school,
oh, that's awesome.
and he wants to play with his Legos or his cars. And I'm like, all right. You know, whereas some kids, they just want to, like, play out in the street all night. You know what I mean? They would skip dinner if they could. But I acknowledge that he needs that time to kind of self-regulate again because he's probably been stimulated at school all day.
Right. So that's a perfect example of knowing what your child needs, knowing that they need some time alone, some downtime. The skill is actually called self-soothing, right? You learn how to soothe yourself and how to manage your own thoughts and feelings. That is the core of emotional regulation. So that's a beautiful thing that he knows what he needs to do in that situation.
I'm bored.
Right, and so what was the old classic saying? I'll tell you what to do when you're bored, right? I wish I could be bored, right? Those are the things our parents said.
Yes.
But I actually take that as a sign of I don't know how to manage myself. I don't know how to manage my time. I don't know how to manage my feelings. Often parents offer something. Why don't you try this or why don't you try that? Usually they say things like, you know, why don't you clean your room or why don't you empty the dishwasher, and they definitely don't want to do those things. But it's finding something for them to do or giving them a suggestion. To me, they're opening up to a suggestion at that point.
What are the 2 main factors that influence the mental health of our kids?
I think what we're looking for is the overall well-being. So there's the social environment and the psychological environment. So the more kids are inherently social, so the more we can provide them with social connections and learning the reciprocity of friendship, those opportunities, and the psychological well-being. That means the climate of the home, the climate of the school, your ability as parents to talk with them about feelings and help them identify feelings. So it's the social and psychological well-being.
And if the home environment isn't ideal, a camp might be a great resource to get these kids out, maybe even an overnight camp where they go away for a week or 2 or something like that.
Yes, so that's a great thing to bring up because, right, not every home environment is the healthiest, and having time away, time where you can connect with other adults, you realize, wow, these adults seem to get along with each other, or these kids are friendly to each other. The siblings in my house are not friendly to each other. So you get experiences and opportunities where you realize that things can be different.
Right, and you say the only thing that's constant is change.
The only thing that's constant is change, and that's something that we have to get used to, but that's not saying we need to change the schedule every day, but learning how to adjust and learning that mental and emotional flexibility.
All right, thank
Please
you, Dr.
come back.
Saunders. I know, it's so nice to have you in person on the couch.
I get more out of it when we're in person.
It's that interpersonal communication, you know what I mean?
It meets all our social needs.
Exactly. Thanks for being with us.
I appreciate it, Dr. Saunders.